I love making more work for you. It's so much fun.
Thank you for joining the Escape With Me Book Club. Escape with me, Sam Reiner.
And me, Tim Bergman.
Into our most recent read. Come with us as we evade reality and go into detail about a new book. We'll be covering the book from beginning to end, so there will be spoilers. Today we are going to fictional Pickaxe City in probably Michigan, United States. Published December 1st, 1987, The Cat Who Played Post Office is the 6th book in the Cat Who series. Qwill has officially moved into his mansion, but when the mysterious disappearance of a housemaid 5 years ago causes some concerning questions, Qwill must get help from new friends and some old to solve the mystery before he's the next victim. Cold case, cold case, cold case.
Yeah, it's not even that cold, just 5 years.
Background for this. I don't remember the books at this point. I may or may not have read them. I have absolutely no idea at this point. I'm going to say probably not. So I have The Cat Who Saw Red, The Cat Who Played Brahms, and The Cat Who Played Post Office all in one omnibus, which was a mistake on my part, but that's beside the point. And I honest to goodness don't know if I got through that book and started on the tiny books again. So I'm going to say probably not. We are entering new territory for me, at least. This is all new to you.
Yeah.
I definitely own all the books. That counts for something, right?
Yeah, and I own some of the books that you buy me.
Yes. You have already stated that one of my many amazing talents is my ability to find super niche books that aren't even available on Audible.
Yep, you do live in a good area for that.
I'm just good at thrift bookstores, period. But moving on from that, age level, adult, content warning, we do have blood, language, PG-13, pedophilia is mentioned, death of an animal is mentioned, murder, suicide, emotional incest, death of a child mentioned. You know what's a little bit funny? You read the book and you're like, I really want to talk about that ending. And I had read the book sooner than you, and some time has elapsed. And I was like, okay, fine. But having reread the content warning, I'm like, oh yeah, that ending.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
It's very weird. It's very taboo.
Oh, hey, Tim, come read this cozy mystery. It's not even really about the murder. It's just him going around and eating food and looking at wallpaper. No, it is not.
You're welcome. I'm sure your life is just thoroughly enriched because I have introduced this book series to you. You're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that ending. Agreed.
It's weirder because I have an older sister.
Oh, yeah, having a sibling. I am an only child, but even then, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about with the ending.
Yeah.
Huh, this is something I have not considered ever.
Yeah. But judge a book by its cover. So, like I said, I have the omnibus, so I think it has a letter. It has a rolling pin, a candlestick, and a letter. So, I don't know, mail time? My thought was, they're in this house, it has a lot of junk, right?
Right.
And so I thought it was gonna be Coco finds old letters. And I thought, especially with the cold case, that maybe it's her old letters and that's what's going to solve the case. But no, Coco literally is playing mailman. The mail arrives, he will look through it or sniff through it or whatever cat senses he is using and bring specific ones to Qwill.
Yeah, and the thing is, Qwill would have read it anyway. He just knows that this one is more important now.
Yeah. Well, maybe he wouldn't have looked at it with the right amount of looking at it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nah, his mustache senses would have told him something was off.
To quote Arch Ricker from another book, his hunches are either 100% correct or entirely off base. We have read a book where the entire book is him getting it all wrong. So it could go either way with this author. But what did you think this was going to be about?
Okay, so my book has the broken vase, the bloody paw prints, and the letter.
Yes.
And judging by the rest of them, I really don't know what to expect. After the one where it's like the cat that ate upholstery.
Yes, that's the second book.
From then on, I just decided that when I look at the title, I know it's never going to be what I first think.
Fair. That may just be very, very, very fair statement. But hey, your note about how the title only seems to come up in like the last third, not true for this book.
Yeah, not true.
It started very early. So there we go. We got male cat, which don't we all want mail delivered by cats? I don't mind a couple poked teeth holes.
A little hole punch.
No, that sounds awful, actually. Like, a herding cat is the reason.
Yeah, plus you'd be finding letters behind the fridge, on top of the fridge, underneath the couch.
Oh my goodness, yes. In hidey holes in, let's see, where are my cats? One of my cats specifically is a hider. She's hidden twice in the chimney. We had to like completely box it up for her safety. So many places we didn't even know there was a hole there or some sort of entry. She's hidden in the air ducts. She moved the grate to get in it. She found this tiny hole in the corner of our kitchen where instead of sealing it, the corner piece, instead of sealing it, they just left it open, and she snuck into there a couple times. She snuck into the attic. So imagine finding your letters there. Persephone would be a horrible male person, and Apollo would be weird about it.
Yep.
He sniffs armpits.
Oh, yeah. I keep intentionally forgetting about that.
His name fits him fascinatingly well, considering we named him before we really knew his personality. So, but yeah, that's all I got. Mail time. I guess the one thing we can definitely say for the shift from the 60s to the 80s, it was murder investigations. The 3-book in the 60s. It's murder, right? But there's still some form of levity in it. The 80s were dark, and that is true for these past 3 books, with meeting the childhood friend and then her getting murdered and the housekeeper's grandson dying from an accident.
And it's weird because you would think, being the 80s, when you have all of this kind of urban discomfort, the inner city would be more crime-based. But no, he goes over to Podunkia, and now all of these indiscriminate slaughter is happening.
Oh my goodness. If you've been to a small town, not all small towns have a lot of murder, but small towns have so much drama. I think that's exactly what she's pulling from this. And it's like, you think in your little cities that, oh, it's so terrible, but you don't even know. There
is always a bit beneath the surface. There are a lot of big fish in small ponds.
So I'm not terribly surprised by it, but yeah, interesting. That shift there. But like we said, Qwill is hanging out in his... Well, actually, the book starts with him waking up in the hospital. This book pulls, here's the present, but now we have to go to the past. Anyway, back to the present kind of formatting.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed having it start with him having to remember everything, because that helped me.
Who are you people?
I opened the book with amnesia too. So he's there in the hospital bed, and I was wondering, man, what is going on? Oh, he doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, he wakes up in the hospital, thoroughly injured, has no idea who people are. Archricker shows up, which, that was my one complaint for the last book. Oh no, all the characters we love. So many of them pop up in this book, and I have a feeling more are going to pop up too, which makes me feel better. Archricker shows up, Mrs. Cobb shows up, Hixie wasn't my favorite character, but she's mentioned. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Hixie was the
woman obsessed with getting a husband.
Yep, that was her.
From Cat Who Saw Red. And I'm glad she's got a man. Good for her. She has very clear goals. Still would love to see a little bit finding happiness, because you can very easily be married and unhappy.
Yeah, as seen in the book with Archricker, wasn't it?
Yes. Oh, that was... Okay. Archricker. Riker, I don't know. Yeah, he and Rosie are getting divorced. What the heck? Because Mrs. Cobb is like, hey, I'm done with the antique business. The love of my life died. This was kind of his dream more than it was mine. I don't really want to be here anymore. And so she offers to be Qwill's housekeeper, which is awesome. She's great. And so Mrs. Cobb sells her store to Rosie, who has already been pinpointed as a huge junker in book 3. But yeah, the reason she does it is because Rosie and Arch are getting a divorce. Well, dang. I guess that happened.
Yeah, everything's just a little bit darker in this book.
That's what I'm saying. But come to find out, he's in the hospital because he was riding this bicycle and a car tried to run into him and he swerved off the road explode and fell into a drainage ditch. And so he got a concussion and some other injuries. But doesn't remember super well, has a couple dreams, which seem to be memories coming back to him. Because if you don't know, amnesia doesn't cause you to lose anything. Your brain still has it somewhere. It actually messes with the neural pathways. So it's still in your brain. Your memories are still there. You just don't have the neural pathways to access them. And that's what kind of Arch is doing here, is he's being the support person, which is very important for people with amnesia. He's being the support person that can very easily and gently help him make those reconnections. And that's why he's starting to have memories again. He's like, oh, I do remember that, because he's created the neural pathway again and he's able to have the memories. So he's having dreams. It seems the neural pathways are forming. And so he's slowly getting more and more memories. And like I said, the climax is that he was almost hit by a truck. Oh no!
Yep.
Why would anyone possibly want to hit him with a truck?
Just goes to show you, bike lanes, we need them.
In rural, we have dirt roads, Michigan? I mean, we do in general, but like, come on.
I'm just saying. I'm just going to put it out there.
Everyone points out he also needs to get a 10-speed bike instead of the dumpy, rusted thing he found in the garage, kind of.
Yeah, people like to rag on him for riding the rust bucket bike.
I mean, he's literally a millionaire now. And I'm not saying because you're a millionaire you have to spend money, but I can understand why people are like, what are you doing? Why are you like this? Go back to the past. So, Qwill in this book gets to know Alex and Penelope more, who are his lawyers. And come to find out, Alex sucks. He's the worst. He sucks at everything except for getting girlfriends and schmoozing with people in DC. Which, dang, okay, that was a character turnabout. I guess we didn't know him, but he sounded at least competent.
And Penelope is overworked, but very competent.
Yeah, she's the one that's actually good at things, but probably due to sexism, she doesn't have the business or any of the praise or partnership she should. So that's a whole dynamic going on in the background. We'll put a pin in that. But anyway, he's talking with them. He wants to invest all these funds into Moose County. And they're like, you really need to redecorate. We're going to send over one of our cousins, which is so true of small towns. There's always that one family, at least one, that has 1 million members and are the royalty. There are so many good winters in this county. Like his Dr. Girlfriend.
Paging Dr. Girlfriend.
Is a good winner, which I'm not sold on them.
You don't like long lashes, green eyes, and very tasteful banter?
They seem happy and whatever, but I'm just like, well, whatever. I still like him with Mary Duxbury.
Yep, she was very in tune with him.
She's the best. She's an appropriate age for him and just awesome. So I'm not sold on this good winter lady. We also don't see them together very much, but you know.
Yep, he was in an accident.
And she was in Greece for some sort of convention for most of this book.
Wasn't it Paris?
I don't know. She was somewhere in Europe for a convention for most of this book.
Over there.
So whatever. But while he's exploring the house, he finds in this 3-carriage, now garage thing, over it, there's a couple of rooms, and one of them was a servant's room that is completely painted with flowers. And Qwill decides that this is his new obsession, because of course he does.
Yeah, because otherwise the book wouldn't have a plot.
Yes. He looks it over a couple times. He goes back later after interviewing a couple maids, which props to this book to having 2 characters come up during the scene that I thought were just going to be throwaways, but then actually become important later in the plot. One of them's a young girl named Tiffany, and then the other is an older woman who is the housekeeper for the lawyers as well. She's looking for part-time work. Anyway, really well done. I thought they were going to be throwaway. I thought they weren't going to be important. And so it was a good way of introducing those 2 characters without throwing a bunch into your lap. It felt very organic. But anyway, helps him realize that, oh, it's painted by the old mole's maid. And she just ran away one day. No one knows what happened to her. Her name's Daisy, and she painted daisies, so I guess that makes sense.
Kind of a narcissist.
I a little bit. I don't have one of those noun or verb names, but it just feels a little weird that you're named Daisy. And so, you know what I'm going to draw all over this room? Daisies.
I mean, if she was named Daffodil, it would make sense, but...
But apparently she used to work for Amanda, who's an interior decorating goodwinter who gets involved in this project now.
And I don't like that character. She's just grating.
She is, but on purpose, if that makes sense. I wouldn't want to hang out with her, but I can appreciate the character archetype.
Yeah.
And why she's kind of necessary.
Yeah, she is well written.
She's pushy as crap and will tell you everybody's business, which frankly we needed someone to, because everyone else is just gonna, I don't know, whatever, we the moles. Yeah. But yeah, so Daisy got fired from her because something was stolen, and Amanda assumes it was her. It was not. It was her boyfriend at the time, apparently. But, still. Which, wouldn't you know it, after he learns all this, Koga specifically finds a door to the unfinished attic, which apparently was going to be a ballroom. But if you're designing a house, why would you want the ballroom to be on the top floor?
I guess that's why they never finished.
Maybe. I don't know. But to me, I would want that on the ground floor. You don't have to worry about inviting too many people. You don't have to worry about loud stomping noises in the rest of the house,
Yeah, no. All the music, all the noise would just be on the ground level.
Yeah. It would be very convenient. No one has to climb stairs. Anyway, that was a completely different train of thought I'd had there. But unfinished attic ballroom. Of course, he found a box belonging to, oh my goodness, it's Daisy, which has her winter clothes in it, her uniforms, and the elephant that was stolen from Amanda, so she gets her elephant back. But at first they're like, okay, well, she ran away in July, so I guess she just left her winter clothes. She couldn't take them for some reason. So Qwill keeps running down this rabbit hole, learns that she was a really talented art student. She didn't have a very good trajectory due to family circumstances. Apparently, all the moles are pretty...
well-known delinquency.
Yeah. No one really expected anything of her, but she was this amazing artist and could have gone professional if she had stayed in school.
One of those kids that has a lot of potential and not much else.
Yeah, unfortunately. Comes to find another suitcase in the attic, which at this point, I'd be going through all the boxes. We found 2 things of Daisy's in this attic. I would be looking at the boxes, but he doesn't. That's beside the point. They find another suitcase, and it's filled with her summer clothes, jewelry, and toiletries, which she would have taken. So that's sus in and of itself. But they also find baby clothes. And this is when they realize that she was pregnant when she disappeared.
Yep. And it's filled with summer clothes. And if she was going to Florida, then she would have needed it.
Yeah. She left in July. She's going to Florida. She needs those clothes. Except that this was the 1980s. But is it just me, or does it take Qwill way too long to suspect the father of doing it? He finds out that whoever it was, never claimed the baby, might have been married, all the suspicious things about the father. And he's like, who would ever want her disposed of? Who would ever want to kill her? It's the dad. It's the dad. He didn't want her to have the baby. It's the dad.
Yeah. I do think when you find baby clothes and a letter written in left hand, then the primary motive that you ought to suspect is that the dad did not want the baby.
Yeah, it's the dad. Or someone related to the dad, like the mother-in-law. But still, it took him way, way too long to consider that, and it bothered me so much, because he kept being like, who would ever want to harm her? The dad! The one that refused to marry her. And she told people that she was still going to totally get married. Anyway, while this is happening, some strange deaths begin to occur in the semi-background, but not really. Qwill's gonna go talk to her mom, and the day that he's gonna do it, he hears on the radio that she died from an overdose, supposedly. Qwill is not suspicious enough of that fact. And then Tiffany, who gets introduced earlier as a maid, gets just straight up shot. She's in the field working a farm, and she just gets shot. She also had information that she was gonna share, and so she gets killed before she's able to share it. And then Qwill with the whole bike, and we're back. The only other character I think to mention is there's this dude named Birch who is the handyman, and Qwill wants new locks and doors because there's no locks, and he's like, there's been murders. Like, I know I'm a city guy, but I want to be able to lock my door. And then the whole thing with Coco with the attic door, fair, don't want him to keep going up there. Birch is lame lazy and takes forever to do anything. But Iris is able to cajole him by being kind of flirty, giving him good food. And I was like, so do we ship this? And then there's a line where it talks about the evil glint in his eye. And I'm like, oh, never mind. We don't ship this.
Yep, the author thinks that early.
Which, can we talk about how Iris has a type?
Now that you mention it, yeah, from her first husband to all these guys.
Yeah, like Cece and this guy. What should we know about her first husband? I'm just saying, she has a bit of a type.
Likes to be pushed around.
There's a running joke that in a good portion of the Nancy Drew books, the guy that Bess likes is probably the culprit. She just has a culprit radar, but instead of being suspicious of them, she falls in love. That's how I feel here. It's like next time Iris has a crush on someone, we should probably do a background check. Hire a PI or something. So that guy's in the background, literally in the background, doing housework for all of this book. So this totally gets glossed over, and I thought it was going to be a bigger thing. I think we should talk about it. Melinda is the doctor girlfriend, and they're just talking about, town stuff and whatever, and it's like, the mayor of Hickaxe is a former principal who got fired for being a pedophile, and it's just thrown out there, like, oh yeah, that's totally a thing our mayor did, the guy who's in charge of the politics of this city, and I'm like, so the mayor's the father? It's not. I thought that's where they were going, because maybe he was principal at the time that she got pregnant. But no, that's just thrown out there. That's just life. This is the 80s. Life is dark.
Yeah.
Art needs to represent life. Blah, 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 blah. Were you thrown off by that at all?
Oh yeah, I thought that's where they were going.
The answer is no, that's not where they're going. Okay, I guess it's supposed to be a red herring, but it was just kind of startling. And I'm like, so Qwill, can you run for mayor? Have you thought about a life in politics? Pretty please? This guy shouldn't be in power. Anyway, Coco finds another suitcase just filled with thousands in cash, which is pretty crazy. Let's look. US money to today. $1,000 in 1987 is equal to about $3,000 today. A little less than $3,000.
Wow.
So imagine thousands of dollars. Let's say there's $5,000 in there. That would make it a little bit more than $14,000 in a suitcase that you just found. That's crazy. That's insane amounts of cash for a time when everybody had cash still. Now that would be super crazy. So yeah, something's off. Something's weird. We haven't been liking it, but that's just weird. Why do you have thousands in cash? Where did you get this? Your family is very impoverished. Where did you get this?
Oh, there are two things that I wanted to mention.
Yes.
One of them is, and I really like this part, how she included it, is Qwill is out and about the town, and he finds out that there's some kind of morning, afternoonish coffee shop where all the town kind of gathers together, at least the men of the town gather, and they brag and they gossip, they drink their coffee, and then they go home. And during that, you can kind of piece together one or two clues from just the random conversations she includes.
Oh yeah, I love when authors do that.
There's going to be just these random facts like, yeah, I caught a fish this big, or, I think she's going to dump him. And then one of them is like, yeah, she ran away after he refused to marry her.
Yeah.
And that's just thrown in there just randomly. And it's like, oh, okay.
I love opportunities like that where it's one of these things is not like the others. There's 4 possible gossip things and only one of them is pertinent to the case in hand. I'm not going to say they're all false, but they might be. And so I did really enjoy that. I'm glad she included that. I hope that comes back up. I also love that she points out that men absolutely do gossip, because they do. It's a fun time. Really, I do like that. I think he goes there twice.
Yeah.
With Roger and then once with Arch. And so we have 2 opportunities to learn stuff. In the middle of the book, Qwill throws a very fancy party because he was just going to throw a regular one, but Melinda was like, nah, get out the fine china. I know this is middle of nowhere, but white tie event. Very fancy. Pull out all the stops.
Yep, hats and gloves and the whole 9 yards.
Insane politeness and plate placings and the invitations and
Things so high and mighty above me that I kind of tuned that whole section out a bit.
this is why people hire party planners. Like, that would be so exhausting to just know.
Poor Iris had to cook for all of this.
I know, and it had to be fancy special food too, so.
Yep. And did we skip over the community meeting?
There's a community meeting. I wanted to skip over it.
I saw it on the notes and I was like, I know I'm thinking pretty hard about dinner plans, but...
There's a stupid community meeting and there's this guy who is so obnoxious. He literally complains that when they're like, okay, stand for the national anthem, and then he's like, we can't
Herb Hackpole.
we can't do the national anthem because that's not the flag of America because it has yellow fringe on it.
And only 48 stars. Alaska and Hawaii are not on the flag.
Which, okay, yeah, you guys probably should fundraise for a no flag because this is 1987 and Alaska became a state in 1959. So,
Just let it ride. He's been complaining about this for 20 years.
Hawaii also became a state in 1959. So, we're coming on almost 30 years. Yeah, you guys really need to fundraise for a new flag. But anyway, that's some sovereign citizen type nonsense of this isn't a U.S. court because it has gold fringe on the flag and the flag doesn't have gold fringe. Me. But he's doing that, right? But then at his own house, his aggressive dogs are not in any way, shape, or form supervised or restricted to his property.
Yep.
He's that guy. Does he start dating Iris?
He goes out with Iris. I don't think they go out more than once.
She has a type.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. That's what you've been saying.
Mm-hmm. Girl needs help. We need an intervention.
But in the meantime, Qwill goes to that meeting and he wows them all with his city slicker, urban...
I'm gonna pay money so we can do stuff to the flag and blah, blah, blah. Because there's this whole thing where people are like, we don't want to spend taxpayer dollars on this. There's others like, we should pay taxpayer dollars on it. And there's other people who's like, oh, we can get it mended. To which some point out, it's like, you can't really mend.
Add stars, yeah. Where are you going to put them?
So it's a whole stupid kerfuffle because this one guy had decided to be a jack about it.
Welcome to small town politics.
Ugh. I know. Have you seen Parks and Rec?
I have not.
Oh my gosh. It's so freaking funny about stuff like this. But yes, nonsense. So back to the actually important stuff. I'm kidding. There's a diary. He finds a diary. She has... Okay, her art teacher is Roger's mother-in-law, who we met in the last book, who was a big character in that book. But apparently Daisy came up with a form of... She came up with her own font. Like, her handwriting is very artistic, but you can't read it for crap. It looks really pretty on the page, but unusable. So...
Also, she is not the brightest hammer in the box, you know?
And a horrible speller.
I mean, we're talking forgetting the E's at the end of words or in the middle of words. Just absolute phonetics.
And the girl was in high school.
Yeah, she was not hooked on phonics.
No. But Mildred's able to decipher the diary. Apparently, she had a boy named Rick, and he's the one who stole the elephant for her Christmas present. So she didn't steal it, but her boyfriend stole it, which is what Amanda was like, if you didn't steal it, one of your little friends did, so get out of here. So she did get pregnant, but not with Rick's baby, with this other dude named Sandy.
Yep.
Then, okay, Coco screams at like 2 a.m. And wouldn't you know it, it's related to another death. Turns out that Penelope, who had been helping Qwill investigate some stuff.
And who had come to his house in a drunken stupor earlier.
Yeah, she's a really tight-lipped, upper crust, basically British kind of woman. And so her getting drunk was very, very strange and out of character.
She lets a few things slip.
And she does a couple things slip. Not too close to the vest, but she does let a couple things slit. But yeah, then next day, apparently suicide.
She dies in her car.
From monoxide poisoning from her car. I was immediately like, Qwill's gonna need some new lawyers.
Yeah, that's the big takeaway. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I forgot, is every now and again, Iris comes to him and is like, yeah, so-and-so told me that the lawyers were fighting or something.
Oh, yeah.
So she has her own little hand-me-down gossip to give Qwill.
Yes, she does.
So before this, we find out that the lawyers were at loggerheads and money was changing hands. And this is all just in the rumor mill.
And apparently Alex met a young girl in D.C.
Not as young as the principal was into.
True. We do have to make that distinction. Baby lawyer.
Yeah, very Russian name.
Here's the stupid thing. He was into her, probably sleeping with her, gonna bring her back, make her a partner of the firm. And the thing Penelope was upset about was that her last name is kind of ridiculous.
Yep, and we find out that she's upset about a little bit more than that.
Oh, she's upset about more than that, but that's what she's telling people. And she's like, we're gonna be the laughing stock because we're gonna be Good Winter, and
Smufska.
Yeah.
By the way, audience who cannot read what we're saying out loud, SMFSKA. Smufska.
So that's what she's telling people, and she's like, we're gonna be a laughing stock because her last name is stupid.
Which would change anyway, but we don't know.
That's true. Anyway, a stupid excuse is stupid excuse. It's not her real excuse, but we don't know that yet.
It's a real last name. Oh my goodness.
Of course it's real.
I thought you just threw letters together and said, wow, look how foreign.
Qwill doesn't think it's a suicide. He's pretty sus about Alex at this point. Alex has been seen out and about arguing with his handyman. The handyman's starting to look more suspicious because how does he have so much money when he's not doing any work and this, that, and the other thing. So Coco ends up bringing Qwill a piece of mail, which to your point, Coco's big contribution is more hanging out in the attic than the mail because he would have read the mail anyway. But anyway, Coco brings him a piece of mail set from Penelope. Okay. Are you ready for the ending? Are you ready personally to talk about the ending?
Yep.
Turns out Alex is Sandy. Your guess is as good as mine. I would have preferred something where I could have figured it out a little bit better, but that's beside the point.
I think that's our fault, because apparently Sandy is a nickname for Alexander. It's like one of those Robert to Bob names that they had.
It's like when I met my husband, and I grew up in the suburbs of the city, and he grew up in a small town, and he was trying to get me to guess his nickname, and he was like, oh, it's really easy. It's just a nickname for James. And I and other people, one of my friends lived in the suburbs of a different city. She was from Nashville. Both looking at him really confused, and we're like, Jim, Jimmy, Jam? Like, what do you mean? It's a nickname for James. Then we want to go biblical a little bit? Jacob? What is it? And he's like, oh, it's Bo. What? What do you mean the nickname for James is Bo? How did we get there? Oh, well, actually it comes because we were right with Jim. Jimbo.
And then just Bo.
Yeah, it's shortened to Bo. And that's how I feel about this right now, where it's like, oh no, Sandy is totally a nickname for Alex.
But it was Alex the lawyer who impregnated the mole girl.
Yep. So Penelope hired a dude to get her to take some money and leave. And turns out the dude decided to kill her in a cave-in. This area used to have several mines, and it's like a mine town. Most of them aren't open anymore. So put him in an abandoned mine, cave-in, killed her. That's where the thousands of dollars in the suitcase were. And at this point, you learn, oh, he was totally a bully in school, which two people have been described kind of like that. And that's Herb and Birch. And then in the letter, she's like, I sent a letter to the prosecution and the media, as well as naming him. Like, we're playing the pronoun game to prolong this as much as possible. And I'm like, okay, it's Birch. It's Birch, and it's bad because he just installed all of them locks. So you know he could very easily has a key, and wouldn't you know it? Coco wakes Qwill up in the middle of the night, and someone is unlocking the back door.
Who could it be now?
Yeah, it's Birch.
Which, by the way, do you remember the first book?
Yes.
Do you remember how it ended?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just some guy, we never know his name, who just walks in through the back door and Qwill clubs him, which is what happened now.
But this time we know the guy, so it's different. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I honestly thought they were going to pull this is just some guy from town that we never actually mentioned. But no, I was kind of glad that they actually had the whole he had a key the whole time.
Yeah, we have not repeated what I consider a very small mistake in any of the books, which is good.
And this dude is the man of slaughter. If he killed the mole girl and Tiffany and Daisy's mother, and he was going to kill Qwill too. This dude does it for the love of the game.
Yeah, that evil Glint had a lot to say.
And he has a weird laugh too, like a sheep.
But here's the thing. They get him. It's fine. He definitely is the murderer and whatever. The reason Penelope has been acting so weird. Penelope and Alex are siblings. They're not twins, right?
They said they're like twins, but she was born first.
And so we don't have any confirmation it got physical, but it's very obvious that Penelope had an enmeshment with Alex, her brother, that I would say definitely constitutes emotional incest, which is when you treat a member of your family like a romantic partner, and not in the physical way. Like I said, we don't have any proof it went physical, but a lot of times you'll see this more with parents. Think of your most toxic boy mom. Think of the woman that walks into the wedding wearing a white dress like she's going to marry her son, who hates her daughter-in-law because she stole him away and he was mine first, and I'm the woman who gave her this, that, and the other thing, and is almost like a bitter ex. That is emotional incest. You are treating your son like your romantic partner.
And there were hints of that in this.
Yes, but it's so hard to say for sure without knowing the motives, because a lot of it could have been potentially swept away in the, oh, she's trying to keep the good winter name posh or whatever, trying to protect the name. It's a very important name to her, so she's going to protect it and do whatever she has to help the name and the firm. But in the letter, she confirms, no, Alex would treat me, be very, very close to me, and it sounds like almost enmeshment where you're just unable to act as your own person outside of this other person, which is how she seemed to feel. Except when he got a girlfriend, she would get jealous and not like that and be like, why are you betraying me by dating someone externally? And that is the real problem she had with this new lawyer coming in. I mean, granted, she's a 20-something that you're giving partnership because you're sleeping with. I think she had plenty of normal reasons to be upset about that. But yeah, it was the jealousy that kind of did it for her. The 80s! Yay! Everything's insanely dark.
Yep, set down the book, go sit on the couch for a while, think about this, try not to think about this, pick up the book and finish it.
Yeah, so it's very interesting that the author went this route. Emotional incest is a relatively new concept. It was first talked about in the 90s by the Dr. Patricia Love, which is kind of just an amazing name for someone who's going to be known for introducing the concept of emotional incest, but that's beside the point. And she wrote a whole book about it, about how to identify it, and then if you have had it, the second portion's a workbook where you can kind of work through it yourself, maybe bring it to therapy, but just talking about how toxic it is and the harmful effects, both emotionally and psychologically, that having this super invasive relationship can cause. Like I said, the book mainly focuses on parents because that tends to be the most typical dynamic that you will see for this type of thing. But in this case, it is brother and sister. Yeah. And then to end it off, Alex just flies his private plane into the ground. So yeah, Quillen's really gonna need to get a new lawyer. This book took so many characters, and it introduced 3 of them that died, but 2 of them were from the last book. And I'm pretty pretty sure constitutes the only law firm in the whole county.
Yeah, and with the amount of murders that went on in the course of like a month, this has to be the most dangerous county in...
It would be insane. That would be enough to get you to consider moving, I swear. Anyway, the big twist at the end is Qwill realizes that it wasn't a murder meant to look like a suicide. Alex didn't kill Penelope and try to make it look like a suicide. It was a suicide meant to look like a murder. In a very, if I can't have you, no one can kind of way. So she committed suicide, made it look like a murder so Alex and Birch would get caught. Can we sit down and talk about how the author had to come up with this plot? Like, she was just sitting there. This plot did not exist.
Yeah, she was in a dark place.
And then as she was thinking, she's like, you know what? Sounds good. I have one question for the author, but like, what media was she consuming during this time period? Last book had its faults. It still was pretty dark, but I don't know. This is a new level. Like I said, we've hit taboo. As a society, we've been pretty desensitized to the concept of murder, not actual murder. Like if you come in contact with that with your real life, that's very traumatizing. But in media, the fact that we can have an entire branch of mystery, literally devoted cozy mystery, but all the books still revolve around murder, so it's not exactly the coziest. But yeah, you get the icky feeling when we move on to inappropriate family relationships. As you pointed out, murder happened and you didn't need to put the book down and walk away and come back. But for this, you did. It's so strange. It just makes me wonder how unhinged does the rest of the series get? Does she try to top herself? Or is she like, okay, I got this out of my system. Let's go do something else. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't even know if you know.
No idea. I don't know if I want to answer.
General thoughts, though. I love that old characters are coming back. I was so worried last book. I didn't like that everybody was new. I love the continuity between books. I think that's a really good strength, and so I'm glad she is continuing that. That makes me very happy.
It was a really strong start. I really liked the whole amnesia bit that let you kind of look back at the other books. The middle really wasn't doing much for me. Like, it was just kind of plodding along, and I was wondering where the book was going. And then, and we just talked about this, the end was just out of left field. What is happening? This is all happening at once, and it's kind of weird. And then I can look back at the middle of the book and say, oh, this was kind of where it was leading. But I did enjoy it. I did like it. I liked the book. I liked the whole small town isn't perfect deal.
I liked it too. I am so impressed that I momentarily forgot the ending. I honestly wonder if my brain just blocked it out. This is too traumatizing to keep.
Yeah, you were getting on me like, oh yeah, you want to talk about the ending. Ooh, and then you're like, oh.
Right, the ending. My brain was like, this is too traumatic for normal circulation. We'll put this in a little file and we'll just lock that away. One question for the author. I would love to have talked to her in the early 2000s and reflect on this time period and questions about her mental state at the time. Like I said, was it a media thing? Because culturally, it was a pretty dark time. Even Fairly Odd Parents makes fun of the 80s. Like, think about the comic books and stuff. The Crimson Chin has an 80s version, and it's just super dark character and whatever. Movies were dark. This was like prime time for slasher horror. What was going on for her to be dark? And does she feel like she ever got out of that? I don't know. I'd just be so fascinated to hear her reflections on this period in her life and potentially what fueled her to write this really dark stuff in her books at this portion in her career. That would be a fun conversation.
My question would be, what class were you in? And I know that's kind of a very large and more general question, but she knows a lot about the upper crust of society. Then I'm wondering how much of that is research and how much of that is personal. Did she go to these parties? Has she been to these kinds of things? Or is this all just living out the fantasy of being rich and all of this kind of stuff? Because she has a wide array of talents and knowledge. You could see that in the food books or the art books. And so, question about that would be, is this something you've done? Is this something you've wanted to do? What's up with that?
What's going on?
Yeah.
I do think it helps a little bit that she was older when she wrote the series. She was already retired from her newspaper career at that point. That might have helped. She remembers her childhood and tradition and all of that kind of stuff. Like, she was there for it. But yeah, I would just love to learn so much about her period. I'm fascinated by her. Rating Letter from an Old Friend out of 10. We've come back. I feel like the formula has returned. Last book was very strange, and this book, while it doesn't go back to the, oh, you're on a new beat and you have to get a new house and here's all your new characters, it doesn't quite do that, but I do feel like it is a return to form in style. Plus, like I said, we got to see several of the old characters as well, and we talked about them, and I love that. I want to see more of them. We need Odd Bunsen to come up there for no reason. That would be great. So yes, that is how I feel.
I would say hand-delivered mail with teeth marks, but it's a good letter out of 10.
Are the teeth marks obstructing the note, or are they just there?
No, it's kind of like being able to put it in a binder. But I liked the book. Well, I already talked about that in my general thoughts. But it's not a series that I thought I would super enjoy. And there are bits and pieces that I could kind of do without. But for a genre that I don't read very often, I have been enjoying the whole series.
I know, you've been pretty consistent 4 stars.
Yep. I don't like giving things 3 stars because that just feels like I'm shrugging it off.
I don't want to be mean.
Yes. What if the author, it's like, oh, I can't wait to go on Goodreads and look at the review, and the first thing they see is my face with the 4-star review or 3-star review and be like, yeah, it was all right. And then they get a heart attack, and I'm responsible for that.
Good news. She already passed away.
Why is that good news?
You don't have to worry about hurting her feelings. No, I'm very sad she passed away. She left a unfinished book in her wake that she was always regretful for because she wanted to finish it, but it would have been so cool to meet her, but that's beside the point. Read again. Yeah, I would be shocked if a day came and I was like, no.
I would say yes, but I would want to read them all in a blitz like I did last time.
Yeah, just marathon it, one after the other. Here's the question, though. Favorite of the series so far? We have 6 of them. I'm still going with Turned On and Off, The Cat Who Turned On and Off, which makes Iris coming back even better because I love that book.
Let's see. I actually liked the book before this one.
As your favorite of all of them?
Let's see. I think we talked about this last time, didn't we?
Probably a little bit. I don't remember what your answer was.
I will say that the book before this one would be my favorite, but this one is pretty up there just because of how weird and different it is. But I also like The Cat That Ate Upholstery. That was a fun one too.
The Cat Who Ate Danish Modern.
Yeah, that's it. You can tell how much I liked it by the fact that I can't remember the title.
To be fair, they do run together a little bit. If you are a super fan, make note of it. Interesting. Get out of the city. Get out of the newspaper business. What were we doing? Get in a log cabin and pretend you're writing a novel. That's where I like you to be. Which he's totally given up on. He didn't even mention it in this book.
Yep. Maybe the author forgot to.
No, I stand by Qwill was never going to write that book. Let's be honest.
Oh, we didn't talk about the fact that this series has been going on for years and has crossed decades. The amount of fan art is nearly 0.
Yeah. I don't imagine fan art was as big of a thing before the internet.
Yeah, but the fact that nobody has drawn the main character except one person, there is a single grainy piece of art of 2 of the Siamese cats with Qwill in the background, who has this big black mustache, just like in the book. But that's it. That is the only piece of art I could find.
You have to remember, like, where am I finding these books for you? I'm not finding them in the bookstore. I'm not finding them on Audible. I might be able to find them on Amazon because Amazon has everything.
Yeah.
My fandom still exists. I still love this. But I'm not going to also claim that everyone is also equally obsessed with it.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking to myself, what would this be like as a series? Would it be a book an episode, or would it be like an hour long for each one? Could they even do a series with how much happens in these books? Who knows?
I don't think they could cover all of them. As a fan, I'd be okay with, this is overly indulgent, but you could probably handle like 3 episodes a book. Like, you could probably span it out.
There's just so little that happens. There's no action.
Yeah,
It's a very cozy mystery. Can you stretch cozy into 30 minutes?
they do it all the time. Literally look at any of Agatha Christie's publications. And also they could add action and whatever, suspenseful moments in general. But yeah, they'd probably cut some of the fluff and just focus down. But I don't know. I'd rather it be a TV show than a movie, though. But have you read this book? Where's your favorite vacation spot? Also, would you draw fan art for this book, pretty please? Apparently.
We would appreciate it.
Do you have any book recommendations for us? Tell us all about it in the comments below. If you like the video, hit like, and if you're enjoying yourself, hit subscribe for more. Thank you for exploring The Cat Who Played Post Office with us. Join us next time when we'll be covering The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I'm Sam Reiner.
And I'm Tim Bergman.
And we hope to see you in a Frontier next time. Escape With Me Book Club is a Lunar Skulk production. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok to keep up to date with us. Lunar_SKULK.